talk about, when I think of telemedicine, I think of the patient portion or the patient side of that. So I think of myself, if I were to participate as a patient, I would expect, maybe the physician to call me. I've actually had my physician call me several times lately, which normally that would not happen here in the UK. But because of COVID and so on, and not going into the office and things like that, we're doing things over the phone. Tell me about that kind of virtual patient interaction.
Oh, so yeah, so that's probably what you're describing. One of the most common, like you said, you got some calls, right? One of the more common scenarios here in telemedicine is where you're doing, whether it's store and forward review of images or the live synchronous review of images and consultation. That's the, traditional telemedicine or e-consult that everyone probably refers to. If you're doing telemedicine with the patient, you consult with your patient live, give them the results of the ultrasound, and if they're abnormal, you discuss the abnormal results, or then you start talking about whatever medical condition they have, like renal disease or diabetes or high blood pressure and pregnancy, and you do your consultation live synchronous. Then you can create your consult report on Trice and likewise bill for that. My apologies, I always refer back to the SM coding documents, but that's the purest way, because I'm part of the committee, and we recommend that you actually refer to the actual documents all the time when deciding on coding. But in any case, so here's an example that we actually have in the document where a physician remotely reads and interprets a detailed anatomic survey, or we were talking to growth scan, for the indication of a suspected abnormality or fetal growth abnormality, and there's normal findings. Then the physician relays the normal results to the patient via telemedicine. We'll talk about that. And no additional consultation was performed. Then the physician will generate and complete a report for the study. And the recommended coding for that is a 76811 in this case, because the example is talking about a detailed anatomy scan for suspected abnormality. And they would add a modifier 26 to indicate just that they're only billing the professional component, and they're not going to be billing for any additional consultation, since they only relayed normal results. If they were going to relay abnormal results, do an additional consultation, then they would bill for what we call the E&M codes related to the service based on the time that they spent consulting with the patient. And then that is this additional document that we have that we were also already looking at earlier, about live synchronous. If you're doing live synchronous consultation with the patient regarding abnormal findings, then you can, as described in this document, bill for the consultation.
Thank you for sharing those various scenarios. I know a lot of people are having to adapt the way they practice, and this is very helpful for them to be able to see how it's done in a real world situation. Thank you for sharing.
Sure, thank you.